Hello everybody, welcome back to another review. This time I'm reviewing the show that happened on March 8th of 2020, also known as No People Gate. For those of you who don't know, this is a show that happened with 0 fans at attendance and was live streamed on YouTube. Now the reason for that was the coronavirus. As it's spreading more and more, a lot of the wrestling promotions are trying to come up with ways to actually counterbalance it. Some of the bigger ones have just kind of been putting on shows with no people in attendance. Stardom's the only one that I know of that has done that, but they might also be the only ones with backing enough to be able to pull that off, and a widespread knowledge of them to be able to pull that off. Other promotions have done other things like canceling meet and greets and, the handshaking events and the 2 shots and all that stuff, but Stardom has pretty much canceled all of their shows this month, but they were gonna still do this one, just they made it kind of a gimmick where there were gonna be no fans in attendance. They live streamed it on YouTube and they called it No People Gate. So originally there were 5 matches, there were originally 5 matches. There still are 5 matches, but there is one that changed. Originally, Natsuko Tora was supposed to challenge Arisa Hoshiki for her white belt, but up until almost the very end, Arisa was kind of battling some injuries and stuff like that and decided at the last minute that she wasn't fit for the match, so they had to cancel the match. The official word was that she was experiencing neck injuries, daily headaches, and dizziness. Now, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I really hope it's nothing serious. Everyone's kind of worried about it right now, and I really hope there's some kind of announcement or update soon so that we know what's going on. So let's get into the first match. The first match was a Battle Royale Royal Rumble style, also known as just a Royal Rumble, except I don't think you can pin people in the Royal Rumble like for the WWE, so maybe it is just a Battle Royale Royal Rumble style. Basically Royal Rumble, but you can also pin people or submit people if you want. Now, it starts off with Death Yamasan and Saya Iida, and they do a good job starting off the match. They're going back and forth. Azumi comes out shortly after and takes her sweet time before entering, almost seeming like she didn't want to get into the ring until the announcer announced her name. But as soon as she got in there, she eliminated Saya. But don't worry, because Saya actually enters this match 3 times. This was the first time. Next to come out is Momoe Nakanishi. She has been retired for a very long time and hasn't wrestled in a while. I believe she said like 5 or 6 years since she retired. Or not retired, since she last wrestled, but she retired like 10, 15 years ago. And for those of you who don't know who she is, I don't really know too much about her, but I do know that she used to wrestle back in like the dark period of AJW, like during the crash when Joshi wrestling went from this like really big popular thing into like the obscurity that it was before this new upsurge of popularity. Apparently she was wrestling back then for AJW. From what I've seen in this match, she is really talented. I would love to go back and watch some of her old matches, because her and here, like 15 years retired, or 10, I don't remember which is which, but she was killing it. Next came in was Ruka, and then Rena shortly after her. Then there were, I believe, 2 TCS members in the match, and they teamed up to take on Azumi, because Momoe, for as good as she was, a lot of the match she wasn't really wrestling or anything. She was just kind of like on the sidelines doing silly antics or just being funny most of the time. So for like a lot of the time, she wasn't really considered one of the people in the match. So yeah, TCS teamed up, then Hina comes out and Death gets eliminated by Momoe with the help of everyone else. Momoe like flash pinned her, and then everyone else jumped on top of them and Death was eliminated. Then a masked wrestler came out called Captain Stardom, which was Saya Iida under the mask. Then Starlight Kid comes out shortly after. Momoe spends the time cheering and helping very little. Then Layla comes out and just wrecks shop. Is slamming everyone and doesn't slam Momoe, but Momoe pretends like she got slammed and was like injured and rolling on the ground. It was pretty funny. Konami comes out next, and QQ is then outnumbered, as I believe they had 3 TCS members out there with only 3 TCS members, 2 QQ members. So QQ was a little outnumbered. For a little bit, Momoe would kind of help QQ side. I don't know why, but it's pretty interesting. Tam was next, and when Tam came out, they did this really long head scissors chain where everyone was putting the next person in a head scissors, and so it was just this really long thing, like all the way around the ring. Samira came out next. She went and grabbed a bottle of water and that cold spray stuff, and she just started like spraying it on people and like spitting water on everyone's faces while they were in the head scissors chain, which broke it up. Next to come out was Kamatani, and she was rocking her new QQ mask, which I am so happy to see. I'm very excited to see Kamatani in QQ. Rena is then pinned by Captain Stardom. Now, somewhere during this, I completely missed Hina getting eliminated, but I have a feeling it happened right around here, if not at the same time that Rena got pinned. Like, Rena and Hina might have both got pinned by Captain Stardom. As I was watching, I missed it for some reason. But I believe Hina was eliminated around this time as well. And then Captain Stardom got pinned by Layla. And the next person to come out was Mima Shimoda. She's apparently a legend. I didn't really look up her too much, but she is basically a huge name in the Joshi world. She's really old. She's like 40 something, and you can tell. I wasn't super impressed with her. She just wasn't good enough at her old age to justify her being dominant in the match and the things that she did. But at the same time, it was like she did good enough that it wasn't too much of a crime. She only did one thing that I was kind of upset about, which I'll talk about when it happens. She pinned Samire, which that doesn't mean anything. Samire losing is never going to hurt her. It doesn't matter who she loses to. So, next to come out is Saya again, but this time as Super Strong Starlight Machine. Another masked wrestler. Starlight Kid is then pinned by Momoe with the help of Izumi. Konami and Tam do this really killer sequence where they basically bring the first instance of like really good wrestling to the match, because most of the match has been like rookies and or like older people, so it was nice to see like a really good sequence in the middle there. Tam then eliminated Konami with an over the top the rope elimination, and then everyone teams up on Mima, but then Mima eliminates Tam, which made me pretty salty. That was the thing that kind of upset me. I didn't mind her eliminating Samire, but her eliminating Tam, even if it was over the top rope, does seem a little counterintuitive with the push that they seem to be giving Tam. It just seems odd to bring in a 40-year-old something and then have her eliminate one of your top stars like that. At least it was over the top rope, so it's pretty much forgivable. I just feel like that was maybe the wrong choice. After Mima eliminated Tam, Kamatani eliminates Mima with an over the top rope elimination, which was really great in my opinion. See, that's what a super old legend should do. They should come in and put over someone else, a younger talent, and she did, which is respectful. I like that. Like I said, she did a good job. I just the only thing I really felt like was off was her eliminating Tam, but other than that, and even that's kind of like forgivable. She did a really good job, and I'm glad she was there. She, was someone new that I got introduced to. I mean, not new as in she's a new wrestler, but new to me because I've never seen her before. And then Kamatani gets eliminated by Super Strong Starlight Machine with a hammerlock suplex. Now, I don't remember Saya ever doing a hammerlock suplex. I'm trying to think if she did. I feel like it's something that we've seen before, but I don't know. The last three are Izumi, Momoe, and Super Strong Starlight Machine. Now this is where it gets a little weird because you wouldn't think that Momoe would last this long. She was third in. But if you really think about it, she hasn't done anything to really hurt anybody's like standing. The only person she eliminated, if I'm remembering correctly, is Death. And Death herself is a veteran in the, in the business. It doesn't hurt her to get pinned by her like that, especially the way she got pinned, a flash pin and everyone jumping on top of them. So Momoe, Azumi, and Super Strong Starlight Machine. Super Strong then eliminated both Momoe and Azumi at the same time. Super Strong then calls out Natsuko saying her title match is gone and she is going to fight her instead. Which leads into the next match. Before I talk about that though, I do want to say that the Battle Royale was really great. It was really fun. There was a lot of fun moments. I'm really glad that they did it. I always love when they do things like this, and they always find ways to make it interesting. It was a really, really great match. I highly suggest it. Everyone did really good. Even Mima, like for as old as she is, and she's obviously not up to the caliber anymore, but she still did pretty good for, her age. And Momoe is a worth watching it just for her alone, because she was killing it out there. She was super funny. She's incredibly athletic and talented still. I would love to see her give like one more go, like that. It would be awesome. I mean, obviously I don't really want to see that because there are much other people I would rather see get like that position in Stardom right now, like Tam, Jungle, Konami, Momo. But it was really nice to see her wrestle again. I would love to see her come back for like another special event in the future, So moving on to the next match, it's the second match, the Battle Royal winner, which was Super Strong Starlight Machine versus Natsuko Tora. I'm just gonna call Super Strong Starlight Machine Saya for now on because it was Saya. So this match was all right. When I first watched it during the live stream, I had no idea what was going on or why it was happening. Because remember, the live stream had no subtitles or anything like that. And I couldn't figure out why Natsuko was all of a sudden fighting Saya when she had like a title match later on. But it's because the title match got, canceled. Natsuko did trip on her way to the ring since the fog that they were using from the fog machine for the entrances was super heavy. Like you could barely see her. Like they kind of went overboard with hers a little bit. The match obviously wasn't planned too much as it was just an okay match. It's a shame Arisa had to bow out due to health problems because I was really looking forward to that match. And this match is nowhere near as good of a replacement. Natsuko pretty much dominated the majority of the match, and Natsuko pinned Saya with a spinning side slam. None of the matches in this show were given time, like the time wasn't given at the end, so I don't really know how long any of these matches were. The next match was the third match, was the special tag team match or whatever, Hana and Jungle versus Julia and Micah. This match was pretty good. What we learned from the pre-match promos is that Micah is targeting Jungle, and that Jungle mentions that there is someone who might be more annoying than Utami. I think she might be talking about Micah there, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't think she would be talking about Julia in that way, as it doesn't really seem like those two have any kind of connection, really. Every member of Donna Del Mondo just looks super cool, and I can't wait until Julia's new outfit. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the design is or what color scheme she goes with. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. So the match starts off with Jungle and Micah. They do that little shoulder tackle bit where they try to shoulder tackle each other and knock each other over. Jungle ends up winning that. And then they do this little sequence with Julia and Hana end up holding their opponents on the ropes. And then they agree to let them go at the same time, but then neither let go. Jungle breaks free and almost hits Hana, but then hits her anyway after she gets drop kicked. Micah is very good for her experience level, but you can see how green she is in certain spots in these big matches. She's not really ready to pull off a phenomenal or an amazing match yet. She's still very much green. Micah rips out Jungle's hair extension. It was a very awesome moment, and it looked really cool, even though we know it's not her real hair. When Jungle does the scoop slam on Micah lands directly on Julia's head, and it made me really worried. I hope she's okay, because there was a lot of force landing on her that way. I mean, you got to look at Micah. She's probably at least 120 to 140 pounds, because she's kind of brolic. She's got a lot of muscle, you know, and muscle weighs more than fat. So even though she doesn't look chubby or anything like that, she could be more heavy than someone who was like around her size but fat. And with the momentum of the scoop slam, you know, that's even more force landing on Julia, and it made me a little worried, but she seemed fine for the rest of the match. And we haven't heard anything since, so, you know, she could be very well okay. Julia and Hana still have some beef with each other, it seems. They seem to be going hard at each other. Hana even spits in Julia's face at one point. Then Micah and Jungle come in, and Micah gets the advantage almost right away. Julia and Micah do a team attack where I'm not really sure what Julia even did in it. She just kind of like jumps by Jungle. It was really weird. I thought maybe I'd be able to figure it out on my second watching, but I didn't. So I don't know what they were doing. Jungle pins Micah with the Jungle Buster in some amount of time, I don't know, which officially ends Donna Del Mondo's win streak. They have officially lost for the first time in Stardom since their creation. It was a good run, and I'm glad that they finally lost, and especially in this way, because now their matches are going to be a lot more interesting, because they can lose now, you know what I mean? So during the aftermatch promos, Jungle says since her match at Nagoya was canceled, she had a lot of power saved up, and that she took it out on Micah. She then also calls Julia a lukewarm lemon brook, which I had no idea what that was supposed to mean. Later on I figured it out because of something Julia said, but I was super confused when I first read that. Jungle then asks for a single match with Julia for some reason. I have no clue why. I really felt like that was not going in that direction, but I'm not going to complain because I would love to see that. I mean, it's going to suck seeing Jungle lose, but hey, maybe Jungle will win. That would be awesome. Julia grabs the mic and taunts Jungle by basically saying, like, are you proud to beat someone who's only been wrestling for 9 months? Which must sting Jungle quite a bit because of her history with newcomers, aka Utami. And then she goes on to say that Jungle won't be asking for her anymore after their match, which I felt was like a really well done. The way they did it was awesome. Like, Jungle basically says, I'm craving some Italian. Come at me, bro. And Julia was like, I'll give you a taste, but you're not going to ask for more afterwards. It was really well done. It was really cool. She also corrects Jungle by saying it's called limoncello, I believe is how it's pronounced, and not lemon brook. I know limoncello is like it's like a food or a drink or something, or a dessert. I mean, it's one of those very generic edible things, you know. I don't know what it is, but I do know it's like a food type. It's like in that aspect. It's not like an inanimate object or anything. It's a thing you eat or drink, which is what Jungle was apparently trying to say when she said lemon brook. So with that out of the way, let's move on to the fourth match, the Goddesses of Stardom title match, with Bea Priestley and Jamie Hayter, the champions, defending against Momo Watanabe and Utami Hayashishita. It was really cool to see Yoko Bito there. I wasn't expecting her there at all. She was one of the commentary team. I think we all knew the outcome of this match before going in. I mean, I don't see them losing the belts before ever defending it even once. I don't think Stardom really does that very often. The only time I can remember was when Jungle and Natsuko ended up losing the belts without ever defending it. But that was because they literally won it right before the tag league started, and then they lost it to the people who won the tag league, which I believe were Momo and Utami. And they didn't do any title defenses during the tag league. If I'm remembering correctly, I could be wrong, but I feel like that was true. It's really awesome to see Kamatani in QQ's corner. I'm going to love seeing QQ's dynamic now that they have Kamatani with them. And Stardom, I look forward to more QQ streams. Seriously, even though we don't know what they're saying, we love them. I saw a lot of English speakers in that chat during that stream. Please, more. I want to see them play more games. And if they do play video games, please upload that part too, because I really want to see that. So the match starts with Momo and Utami rushing at them. They go to the outside, but unfortunately Momo and Utami don't get the upper hand, as Jamie and B do this trick where they run around the ring and have them follow them, but then they like turn around and hit them. It was kind of weird, but like I get what they were going for. It was a nice touch. But it's really hard watching true evil beat the good guys sometimes. It was really tough. Jamie tried to punk out Azumi while on the outside, but Azumi didn't even flinch. It was hilarious. Azumi's hardcore, guys. Odotai really got the advantage here early and were really beating up Momo for a lot of the match. But Utami was able to get some momentum when she was tagged in, but shortly after, Jamie overpowered her. There was an awesome moment I want to point out where Utami's lariat on B was really good. B really sold it well, and Utami really put some force behind it. It just looked really natural. Momo's kicks in the corner against B seemed really stiff, but then right after, she did one of the lightest corner drop kicks I've ever seen her do. And as you guys know, Momo has some of the best corner drop kicks. She does what's called a delayed drop kick. It's not as crazy as Kenta's or Shibata's. I think his name is Shibata. If I'm saying that wrong, let me know. The dude who basically learned it from Kenta, but then everyone called it his kicks, which annoyed Kenta or something like that. They're not as intense as those, but they're very, very good in my opinion. Momo does a B driver on the apron to B, which is even more crazy because Yoko Bito is there as an announcer. And for those of you who don't know, the B driver, the move where Momo like drives them in their neck while they're on her back, she actually got that from Yoko Bito. That was Yoko Bito's move, and Momo started using it after beating Yoko Bito in her gauntlet as she retired. Momo and Utami do an awesome team attack, which is basically just an assisted Somato, which I heard one of the announcers call it that. I've been calling it a Samato this whole time, but he called it a Somato. And so I guess that's what I'm going to be calling it from now on, or at least I'm going to try to. It's an assisted Somato off the top rope. Utami holds them in like a wheelbarrow position, and then Momo jumps over Utami and hits them with a Somato, basically driving their head into the, or like face into the mat. It looks really good. It's a really great thing. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be seeing it very often because of something that happens later on. Momo then went on to do the unbelievable, and she kicked with her left leg, guys. Hallelujah, it's happened again. It was actually a very nice kick too. And then the kick right after it with her right leg was even more phenomenal. B then goes on to pin Momo with the Queen's Landing, unfortunately. But I mean, I think we all knew that was happening. So during the aftermatch promo, now there is a lot of controversy over this ending, as Kamatani comes in and challenges for the tag belts with Utami. Now the reason people are upset is people don't seem to like it because it seems disrespectful to Momo, as she isn't even mentioned. She got pinned, she's sitting there all like hurt and anguish, and then Utami and Kamatani kind of do their own thing while Momo just kind of disappears in the background. I can see why people feel that way, as it's very dismissive towards Momo, but I feel like it was a necessary evil. Now, let me explain. They have one show this month to progress storylines and start new ones. It seems rushed because it is rushed. They don't really have a choice. Side note, Kamatani has a really good like angry / annoyed face. I think she's going to do really amazing in feuds in the future. Now back to the thing. It is annoying how Momo seems to be an afterthought here, They could have had her speak first, saying something like she failed to get her revenge and she needed time to reevaluate herself. Kind of like a Natsuko ordeal back when she was in John. Have her walk away off alone, leaving Utami in the ring kind of bewildered or, you know, sad that Momo just left. Then Kamitani comes in. I feel like that could have set everything up well. It shows Momo's going through some stuff, and it makes Utami come off less bad for jumping into a new partner so easily. I feel like that probably would have been a better way to do it. I mean, I'm no like expert in storylines and stuff. That might even sound really dumb to some of you, but to me, I would have been completely fine with that. Now, I'm kind of fine with how it happened because, like I said, it's kind of a necessary evil. They're rushed. You know, they need to start the next storyline. I'm curious to know where this is going though, because it does kind of feel like Momo's been put in the back burner. And if Izumi really is going to go off and win the high-speed belt, which I really hope is where they're going, then I don't know what they're going to do with Momo. So let's move on to the last match, the main event and the special match. The last match was the lumberjack match between Mayu Iwatani and Saki Kashima, and it was a really, really great match. Seriously, highly recommended. Go watch it. It's awesome. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I don't want to really spoil what happens, you know, like things that happen in it. You just need to go watch it, all right? I do this a lot for a lot of the really big matches. I try not to speak too much about it because I want other people to go watch it themselves. I'll say, you know, the outcome and some things I thought were cool about it, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. Saki seemed super brutal and intense against Mayu during this. It just felt like she was letting off years of resentment in a single match. She was very, very vicious, whereas she's usually not vicious at all. Odo Tai were definitely at home in this type of match, while Stars mostly seemed out of place and not as good at the scrapping part on the outside of the ring. Only Tam and Starlight Kid seemed to be of any help to Mayu. Of course, since it's a huge special show at Karakin, there must be a spot at the stairs. You know the stairs. The same stairs Mayu was hung from by Kagetsu, and Io would do her moonsault off of and everything. Mayu chooses to do a crossbody off of it, and it was really cool. It was a really great shot. She hit like everyone. It seemed really impactful. But the match ends with Mayu pinning Saki after a series of brutal kicks, like really, really brutal, like some of the most brutal I've ever seen, and then a tombstone pile driver, and then a moonsault. Mayu won. During the aftermatch promos, Mayu does her usual stick, saying good evening and whatnot, but since there's no crowd, no one says it back except Liger, who was also part of the announce team, or the commentary team. Starlight, or then all of them went on to do like a, say a little bit. Starlight gives a very, very idol-like speech. It seriously seemed like it was made by an AI to write idol speeches. That's how like generic it was, and I'm not saying that in a bad way because it really fits her. I'm just saying that it seemed like it was very, very idol-like. Hopefully Hanan makes a return soon because she was there. She's been at shows very often as a ring second. And I'm going to say one more thing about the show is that Tam looks pretty bummed out. I can't tell if it's because there were no fans and she just wasn't feeling the energy, or if she was worried about Arisa. Regardless, she was just definitely not acting like herself. She seemed kind of down. And with that was the match. Overall, the show was super great. I really loved pretty much all of it. The only thing that really didn't stand out to me and is kind of worth skipping is the Battle Royale winner versus Natsuko, or, you know, Saya versus Natsuko. It just wasn't that good of a match. It didn't really need to be done, but at the same time, it kind of did because Natsuko was then out of a match and she wouldn't have wrestled. So, what are you going to do? All right, thank you. And then, as always, at the end, my patrons for this month, I'm going to say their names again, just because, like I said, I'm not making a lot of videos, and I feel bad. So my two patrons this month were Miss Solar and Smack It Down Podcast. Thank you both again. Usually I'm only gonna do a shout out on the first video I make after they pledge. You know what I mean? So you're not gonna get a shout out every thing. It's just because it's been so slow lately for me with my videos that I kind of feel bad. So I feel like I should, give them a shout out a couple times instead of just once. Every other time or any new pledges, it's going to be the first video after you pledge. You'll get a shout out and like a little message. And then every time after that, your name will just be listed on the pledges thing that should be being shown right now. So thank you guys, everyone, for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the show and whatnot. Bye.